Hello, hello, hello. 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 Hello.
Walk in. You alright? Okay. Trying to get manage the photo. Hey, Danish, you had talked to Peggy on there and said they were over the school book? Right up here, right up. Yeah, I expect to call Peggy. I look, all right. Good morning, ma'am. Yeah, I was trying to do, this is yes, scholarship, I'm talking on the train. Yeah, I was just in the home, but I walk by the, and I said, when it's for the phone, so the phone here, like, even if this one, yeah, the people call me. Yeah,
Well, good morning from Warner Park. It's bright and sunny, and as we look out, we see the field, the Warner Park outfield nicely cut, looking rather immaculate. Pitch is looking quite good too from my vantage point, the best I've seen it, or any one of the strips saw for some time. And they are using the most easterly of the strips today. Umpires are out. The toss has been taken. Toss was won by St. Kitts, and they opted to insert the Nevis Masters team. And the umpires out there, Watley, and my guy and his friend, I think it's Vinsha Mangran. Mangran, yeah, Mangran, yes. He's the umpire for this first match. But the St. Kitts team, very strong team. It has been doing quite well. Some young masters, of course. Of course, they would have qualified age-wise. We still have some of the St. Kitts players quite active. Ezra Powell, for example, plays quite a bit of cricket over in Nevis. And from time to time, we have people like Shane Jeffers, who's the captain today for St. Kitts, playing a bit of cricket. So a well-oiled Masters team for St. Kitts taking the field. And I'll just run through it quickly for you, the St. Kitts team. Shane Jeffers, captain. Jatin Patel is the wicketkeeper. Gary Rogers. Ezra Powell. Greg Temple Stanley. Roy Nisbet. Robert Murray. Welton Edwards. Sherman White. Sean Liebert, and Leon Clark. That's the St. Kitts team. And for Nevis, we see a few stalwarts there. The players who would have represented Nevis. One player, Stuart Williams, would have represented the Leeward Islands and the West Indies. And the Nevis team is Joel Simmons, captain, who would have kept wicket for Nevis consistently over the years until he retired. Stuart Williams, Junior Mills, he would have played for Nevis also, as did Marvin Hamilton, a past player for Nevis. There's Colin Walwyn, Patrick Newton, Wendell Wallace, and Prakrish and me. It's Curtis Doe. He also would have played for Nevis, and also Sidney Newton, one of the two Newton brothers, would have played for Nevis. And then there's the evergreen Sterling Marshall. He brings up the rear. I suspect that he's not batting at number 11, but we'll have to wait and see. And play about to commence. Sherwin White will pick up the attack from the far end. And the openers for Nevis are there. And they would be looking to get Nevis off to a good start. Of course, it's a 20-over affair. And really good conditions in which to play the game today. Game scheduled to start at 10 o'clock, so just about some 19 minutes behind time. As you see the Nevis team, they starting with the openers, Colin Walwyn. He's taking strike. And the first over is coming from the Lozak Road end. So we have a slipper backward point, cover, extra cover, mid off, mid on, short mid wicket, backward square in place. And just the third man on the boundary sweeping, and White starts with a wide. So Nevis off the mark immediately. Mills, the junior Mills, the left-hander. He's the non-striker for Nevis, Nevis Masters. Just a few spectators on hand at the moment looking on. Walwyn. And he's playing at one, takes the edge and he's on his way. That one certainly seemed to have caught Walwyn by surprise. And he's on his way for a duck. So White taking the wicket. So St. Kitts drawing all the blood, losing the wicket of Walwyn for a duck. And he just faced two deliveries. And the one, it seems as though there's a soft spot. That ball seemed to have jumped off a good length from White. And caught Walwyn by surprise. And took the outside edge and threw to the keeper Patel, who took a good catch. So St. Kitts starting well. And the number 3 batsman goes to the crease. And that, of course, is Stuart Williams coming in at number 3. But certainly a good start there for the St. Kitts team. And it seemed as though there was some preparation moisture in the pitch. And that ball from Sherman White, who is really of a gentle pace, jumped off a good length. And took Walwyn by surprise, took the outside edge, and Patel took a good catch, diving forward. So, not for one Nevis after being inserted. Few tourists coming in to have a look at the proceedings. We see 1 or 2 spectators coming in already. White, shot and played down towards the third man boundary for 4. It was short and Stuart Williams just rocked back and cut it down to third man for 4. So Nevis 5 for 1. And Stuart off the mark, Stuart Williams off the mark, first delivery received. Of course, White is of a gentle medium pace and he cannot afford to be too short to Stuart Williams. It was short and he was duly punished. Just the third man on the boundary, that's the only field out. So shot again. And this one is banged up to mid-off, with Clark who does the fielding. So, rather interesting over so far by Sherman White. Off a short run from the far end. Oh, that one seemed to have hit the spot, but the experienced Stuart Williams just allowed it through to the keeper, not playing a shot at that one. And Patel was taken behind. So White obviously exploring that spot, just on about off or just outside off stump. This one is pushed into the offside and Williams sets off for a single. It was to the left of Clark at mid-off and it was gently played into the offside and Williams picked up his 5th run with that single. Single always seemed to be on. So White switches to around the wicket to the left-handed Junior Mills, who will receive his first delivery. Left-handed batsman, a batsman who would have also played for Nevis, who would have represented Nevis as an opener. Player who loves the game. And gets a good one. Keeps it out. End of over number 1. And Nevis losing just 1 wicket in that over, and it's 6 for 1 after over number 1. Umpires Mangra, Visham Mangra and Watley, the umpires in this match. So now we see it's going to be, looks like Clark from the media center end. He's bowling right arm medium pacers. Clark, of course, one of those players who would have played for St. Kitts. Still a fairly young man, just about 50 or thereabout. And I'm told that he's younger than that, and I believe that also, but he was insisting that he's around 50. Gentle medium pacer there to Stuart Williams, who just gently drops it into the offside. So the St. Kitts team, having fielders placed in run-saving position, turned into the onside quick single, and he's home. The throw going past the stumps, and one more to the Nevis score after being inserted. This, of course, is a 20-over affair, as Mills, who is yet to get off the mark, would have just faced just about 1 delivery or thereabout. Comes back into strike, and Clark will continue to bowl over the wicket to the left-handed Mills, Junior Mills. But he has a slip in place, a gully, point. There's a third man back on the boundary also. And extra cover on the mid-off. This one is wide, rather wide of the off stump. And that came very close to 10th stump line. And the white signal. It's a humid day here at Warner Park. Clark. Slow delivery in the air. Fielder is getting under it. Takes the catch. And Mills is on his way. Slow delivery. And Mills probably into the shot a bit too early. And the top edge it down to mid-off, where the catch was taken. And Nevis lose their second wicket. And the fielder settling under that catch for St. Kitts, Robert Murray. No, I'm told that's not Robert. Person is wearing the number 10. Rasta guy who took the catch, Robert Murray, and he's wearing the number 10, so I suspect that's Robert Murray. I could be wrong, but we'll get some clarification on that. So probably a bit of a mix-up there with the numbers. He's sporting number 10, most definitely. And he's not a player I'm too familiar with. But we'll get some clarification on that. So Clark striking in his first over. Likewise, we had White striking in his first over. And the ball not going on to the bat. Clark, of course, taking pace off. And Mills drawn into the shot too early and skied it down to mid-off where he was caught. And he departed for a duck also. So Both openers going back to the hut. New batter is Marvin Hamilton, and he once promised a lot. Of course, he would have played for the Nevis team also. He's taken on the part, the appeal goes up, and the umpire Mango remains unmoved. So the St. Kitts bowlers sticking to line and length, and so far they have been doing a very good job. Clark over pitches, in fact, dug out there by Hamilton. So the St. Kitts team keeping things tight at the moment, and they're not giving very much away. Just one boundary so far. Quicker delivery, and they seem to have taken Hamilton on the shoulder of the bat, and it dropped harmlessly into the onside. So the end of over number 2, and at the end of that over, the score, Nevis 8 for 2, having lost both of the openers. White will continue as the sun goes on the cloud momentarily. But still a very good day for cricket. Pitch though seems to have a bit of preparation, moisture in it. Oh, this one is wide, and very wide indeed, and signaled to by umpire Watley. This one is closer to the stumps, but no shot offered by Williams, who allows it through to be taken behind by Patel. Oh, Williams is cutting at one, lifting outside the off stump, missed it completely, and through it went to Patel. So, apart from the one wide in the over so far, the batsman not able to score off the bowling of White. Outside the off stump once more, and once more Stuart Williams does not play a shot. And of course, with the loss of those early wickets, the batter, of course, the batsmen, of course, they would be looking to try and consolidate. Williams is back. Hamilton is charging down. Puts the brakes on and gets back to his and he's cutting and cutting well, going out towards the cover boundary. Slowing up inside the boundary, but gets there ahead of the fielder. And 4 good-looking runs there to Stuart Williams. So that's the end of over number 3. A good end to that over for the Nevis Masters, picking up 4 of the last delivery of that over. And just to remind viewers, the toss was won by the St. Kitts team, and they inserted the Nevis team, but obviously realizing that there's some preparation moisture in this track, Clark bowls one outside the off stump, and the ball seems to be holding up in the wicket and making it very difficult for the batters to play any extravagant shots. In the air, caught. My goodness. Caught at backward point. That looks like Edwards there taking the catch. And Hamilton is on his way. So the Nevis team lose another wicket, their 3rd wicket, and they're struggling at the moment. So looks like Duo going to the crease. Duo, of course, another one of those players from back in the 70s who would have played for Nevis. And he goes to the crease to partner Stuart Williams, who is still out there. So Clark would have picked up a 2nd wicket. And for Nevis, they are 3 wickets down. So St. Kitts winning the toss, inserting Nevis. Obviously, they would have seen some preparation moisture in the track. And the Nevis really struggling at this point. Hamilton not troubling the scorers either. Going caught at backward point by Edwards, Welton Edwards, for no score. So Clark would have picked up his 2nd wicket. Nicely turned off the pads by Doe down to square, just slightly back out of square, back for the 2nd run. And he's off the mark immediately. So St. Kitts team doing well so far. Outside the off stump, pretty close to being called a wide, but probably passing just inside that tram line. And no signal coming from the umpire Mango. Of course, today we would be having some 3 matches at 2 o'clock. And at 7 o'clock this evening. Though defends well, it goes into the offside. So the St. Kitts Masters team very much on top at the moment. They have been picking up wickets with regularity. Wide, and this, of course, will be signaled also. So, adding to the total, of course, for the Nevis team, and very much welcomed at this juncture. Looking to stitch together a partnership and to bring some respectability to the score. And here, one is going down towards fine leg. Gets there ahead of the fine leg fielder. And we have 4 runs being signaled there. So it's now 21 for 3. We have Stuart Williams on 10, and Curtis Lowe is on 2. Now we see some work being done on the pitch. So obviously, the pitch is a bit soft. And it was not surprising that the St. Kitts team opted to insert the Nevis team. And so far, so good for St. Kitts. They have been doing quite well. And they've picked up wickets. So it's white once more. Oh my goodness. And here we saw Stuart Williams running down the pitch to a wide delivery. And had to quickly try and regain his ground. Played into the offside up to cover. In fact, they're going back for a second run as the return is a weak one. Coming in from on the boundary by Roy Nisbet. And the batsman seized on the opportunity to give up a second run. That here would depend on Stuart Williams for the Nevis Masters. They, of course, would need a good innings from him today. And they would be hoping that he could give them something with which they could have a fighting chance. Cuts at and misses through to the keeper. Oh, yes, he's out. Bowled and caught. This one was played back to White, who gleefully accepted the catch. And Stuart Williams is on his way. So, first wicket, the Nevis Masters, and they're really folding like 10 pins. So this Nevis team, the Nevis team really do need a partnership here. Scorecard there. Okay. Thank you. So it's now 24 for 4, the Nevis Masters after being inserted. And we have had 3 ducks, Colin Walwyn, not from 1, Junior Mills not from 2, Marvin Hamilton not from 5, and we just saw the dismissal of Stuart Williams, bowled and caught for 12 from 16 deliveries. Curtis though is still there, he's on 2. And this innings could be over in quick time, as it's the captain, Joel Simmons, who's gone out there, gets one outside the off stump, and just shadows, allows it through. But certainly, the bounce on this pitch has not been true. It has been stopping a bit. And sun is really beating down on it. So I expect that by the time the Celtics goes out there to bat, a nice shot there from Joel Simmons, but just a single down to third man. So, end of the over. And at the end of that, it's 25 for 4, the Nevis Masters. And 5 overs completed, and they're going at 5 runs for over. But when you look at that last column, you would see that 4 wickets are down and not the best of position to be in. So White 3 overs for 15 runs, and he has picked up 2. And Clark will continue. He is in his 3rd over. He also has picked up 2 wickets. See a change in the field there. We see a player wearing the number 6 has gone onto the field. So Leroy Leader on, sporting number 6. And we were given an 11. I don't know if he's part of the playing 11. But he has been around for quite some time too, left arm leg spinner. So Clark. This one is steered down into the slip region and finds Greg Stanley. He fields. Greg Tempo Stanley, of course, another player who would have represented St. Kitts. Overpitched, bottom edge there by Simmons. And it goes back up on the offside to the bowler who fields. So certainly these 2 bowlers for St. Kitts, they've kept things tight. And not bowling at any express pace, of course. Of course, this is Masters game. In the air, over the top, going out towards extra cover. In fact, it goes all the way for 6. That's a good shot by Joel Simmons. He just laid back, got a ball which was pitched up to him, and helped it over extra cover and all the way for the first maximum of the match. So, wonderful shot there by Joel Simmons, the captain of this Nevis team. This time he's defending, gets it past Edwards, who's in the gully region. Edwards misfielding, in fact. and allowing a run. So runs valuable here for Nevis. And we know that Joel Simmons, he can play an attacking role. He's the captain of the Nevis team, of course. Very experienced, would have kept wicket for Nevis for many years. And though finds himself in a bit of a tangle here. But in the end gets it safely into the onside. And he can't score. So now we see the umpire having some words with Doe. I don't know if that might have struck him anywhere in the helmet. Perhaps my producer could take another look at it and see whether or not it actually struck him on the helmet. But nevertheless, he's there, he's ready to go again. And we are going to see a bowling change from the far end. Looks like Ezra Powell who comes into the attack from the far end. Ezra Powell, of course, has been playing quite a bit of cricket in recent times. And in fact plays his cricket in Nevis with the Brownhill cricket team. And so he has some good match practice on his belt. Just recently would have participated in a 10-10 tournament held by the Nevis Cricket Association. And if I'm not mistaken, I think his team might have won or at least played in the semi. No, I don't think it was his team, but they were at least in the semis and probably finals. Starts well. For most parts, the St. Kitts field has been rather attacking, run saving in the air, caught. So there you have it. Doe probably looking to go over the top and just skying it into the air. And the easy catch taken there at extra cover, or cover to be more exact, by Roy Nisbet. And the Nevis Masters lose another wicket. And they are now 34 for 6. So this certainly has been a steady possession there by the Nevis team, just into over number 7. Not halfway through as yet, but they've already lost 6 of their wickets. And in goes the aggressive Sterling Marshall. And we know he really gives it a good heave. And but of course, this is not the type of track for that sort of batting. We have seen batsmen trying to go over the top and balls popping on the batsman. For example, into the onside and getting a lead edge into the offside. Oh, he gets a good one, takes him on the glove. And once more, there's a bit of bounce. And certainly, this track certainly has something in it for these slow medium pacers. And one could see that, you know, the track is not a firm track. It seems to be a certain degree of softness in the track. And probably too much preparation, moisture being left in the track. And we see batters really struggling out there to get going. Still have the fielders, all except 2. The mandatory 2 outside the circle. Fine leg And we also have a long on back on the boundary. And it's Rakesh who stays into the offside. Rakesh Subrami, originally from Guyana, of course, but has lived in Nevis for 28 years. He's driving at and missing outside the off stump. Taken behind by Patel. This match seems to be going at a slow pace, but that has been rather deceptive. Wickets have been falling for Nevis, but he gets one which seemed to have slowed up on him, and in the end he kept it out and stayed it into the gully region. Does not look like a track for stroke making at the moment. We have seen all the batsmen struggle so far. Clark in his final over goes in. He's driving, gets it down to long on, and gets a single. So he gets his second run. Subrami. And the Nevis Masters in need of a rescue act here. Colin Walwyn, no score. Junior Mills, no score. Stuart Williams, 12. Marvin Hamilton, no score. Curtis Doe, 2. Joel Simmons, 8. And we have Marshall is there, yet to score. Subrami, he is on 2. And Marshall is defending. So Sherman White had 3 overs for 15 runs and picked up 2 wickets. Leon Clark is in his 4th over. And in fact, 1 delivery left in this over. And so far conceded 18 runs and picked up 2 wickets. Ezra Powell, 1 over in the air, but safe. And Sterling Marshall picks up a single. So Ezra Powell, 1 over for 2 runs, and he has picked up 2 wickets in that over. So rather pathetic scoreboard for the Nevis Masters at the moment. 36 for 6. And we've had 8 overs completed. So will we see the long handle of Sterling Marshall? Track though, which is not suitable for that type of batting. Oh, this one is down the onside and signaled the wide. Sun all the while beating down on this track, taking out whatever moisture might be in this track. So perhaps when the St. Kitts Masters team get their turn to bat, they would. That's a good shot, played back straight back over the bowler, set by Marshall, and he's settling early for a single. He rather just lumbered down to the far end, not taking the first one very quickly. But of course, Sterling Marshall is not the youngest of persons, although he himself would tell you differently. And young at heart, of course. Stayed nicely, but straight to Jeffers, who knocks it down in the gully region. And Subrami is unable to score. Nevis Masters looking for something, looking for a score that they can defend. And this one is in the air and is out caught. My word. He was driving up to extra cover, straight to the fielder who took that catch, and we still need to clarify that fielder. He's wearing the number 10, but the question is whether or not he's wearing that correct number. Delau is definitely a short guy, and I've not seen him around, so that would be Sean Libod who took that catch. So Robert Murray, I'm told he is number 12. Okay. So we have it sorted out. Robert Murray. Number 12. New batsman looks like Sidney Newton. One of the two Newton brothers who would have played for Nevis, of course. His brother, Lewis Newton, the prolific batsman for Nevis. And Sydney, of course, being somewhat of an all-rounder. And has been around cricket for some time. Was not as prolific as his brother Lewis. Lewis would have played many more matches for Nevis than I actually think that Lewis might have gone on to play for the Leewards, but I can confirm that. But it's Sydney. Oh, Edgerton is out. Caught behind. My goodness. Going forward, taking the outside edge. And Sidney Newton is on his way for Golden Duck. My word, they're really folding like 10 pins here, the Nevis Masters. And they think it's Masters all over them. 38 for 8. And we have 2 deliveries left in over number 9. So Ezra Powell picking up his 4th wicket. He picked up 2 in his first, and now he has 2 in his second. And this could be over in quick time. So Sherman White 2 for 15 from 3. Leon Clark 2 for 19 from 4. Ezra Powell 4 for 4. And he's yet to complete his second over. And I see the new batsman going out there. Looks like Wallace. Wendell Wallace. Wendell Micey Wallace, of course. The groundsman in Nevis. Carrying a bit of an injury, and he was not expecting to play today, but I suspect because of the numbers, he is in the squad today, but player who's been around the Masters cricket for quite some time. The groundsman, of course, at the E.T. Willett Park. Defends well to a good delivery from Ezra Powell. He sink its bowlers all over the Nevis batsman like a rash. And aided, of course, by this track, which seemed to have retained some excessive moisture, preparation moisture, I suspect. This one is outside the off stump, white signal. The Sankits team, they have been able to maintain a field, a run-saving field, and able to keep players in attacking position. There's a slip in place, a gully, backward point, extra cover mid-off, mid-on, short mid-wicket, and the 2 fielders out, third man and fine leg. As Powell completes another over. And the end of that over, end of over number 9, and the Nevis team, Nevis Masters, 38 for 8. So, just another over to or well, the Nevis innings halfway, and the side is almost dismissed. As we see Welton Edwards being brought into the attack from the media center end. And once again, we see fielders in run-saving position. Thus, in fact, they're calling the long leg inside the 30-yard circle and sending leader back on the long on boundary. So just long on, and the third man back on the boundary. Good start. Flashes dropped. Down to third man, 4 runs. So he really threw the bat at that, and Greg Stanley, who is at first slip, got out of his hands to it. It was high, but an easy catch nevertheless. And they have traveled too quickly to him, and he picked it up at the last moment. Of course, these are not teenagers out there anymore. Playing at and missing Stanley. So, in fact, Sterling Marsham, so fortune favoring the Brave there, flashing hard, peeling off the outside edge, being dropped and picking up 4. And he's flashing once more in the air. Fielder is running back, Libud. And earlier clock, my good friend Sterling settles for just 1 run. Does not appear to be too interested in braces today. More concerned about getting the single and perhaps looking for the boundaries. It's a hot day. And when you're 50, 60 plus, it's not easy out there. Oh my goodness, here is Wallace just hanging his bat out to one wide of the off stump, almost close to being called a wide. Edwards turned into the onside, but not too far. Just goes into the leg gully region. And the end of Edwards' first over. And unlike his other bowling partners, unable to pick up a wicket in his first over. So breaking the trend a bit. And but nevertheless completing what was a good over. So we are now looking at 44 for 8. And Edwards just conceding some 5 runs from that first over. Projected score 88. But that's a long way off. You have to double that score at the end of 10 overs. So just going at 4.4 runs per over. There's a bit of cloud cover at the moment. And rather cooling breeze blowing across the outfield at the moment. There's some cloud about, but no signs of rain, no threat of rain at the moment. But suddenly a coolness has descended on Warner Park, and it has become a lot more pleasant at the moment. In the air, but safe. And Sterling Marshall is not going to look for a sharp single there. Perhaps looking to conserve energy. And perhaps thinking in terms of using the long handle. Powell. He's swinging and swinging in the air and swinging well out towards wideish long on 4 runs. So that's a good shot. 4 good-looking runs there to Nevis, Masters, and 4 good-looking runs to Sterling Marshall. And 4 welcome runs also. Takes the score to 48 for 8. And a few more of these would be needed by Marshall. Flicks off the pads. That's going down towards the long leg boundary. Gets there ahead of the fielder. And 4 more to Marshall, so consecutive boundaries. And showing an array of shots. Coming up, 52. And Marshall really unsung at the moment, consecutive boundaries. Oh, gets a good one. That one jumped a bit at him. And perhaps taking him on the shoulder of the bat, or might have struck a finger. But in the end, he played it well, kept it out. And there again, we see this uneven bounce. We see balls jumping up at the batsman off a good length. Powell, who is flashing at one outside the off stump, and white signal. All these are useful runs to the Nevis Masters team. 8 wickets down, just going past 50. And struggling a bit. Turns it into the onside. And gets it as far as Leiber and unable to score. So despite Marshall going over the top, the St. Kitts team, they've kept rather run-saving field. There's still a slip in place, a gully. There's a backward point. Oh, he's playing this one into the onside. Looking into the offside, it goes actually. Looking to flick into the onside and taking a leading edge and going into the offside. And Marshall picking up 1 run. So these are useful runs here for the Nevis Masters. Useful runs being scored by Marshall. And he, of course, the second batsman for Nevis going into double figures. And in fact, he's on top score at the moment, 16 from 14 deliveries. Stuart Williams made 12 from 16 deliveries. So Marshall, top scoring so far for Nevis. Extras of 14 wides. And the extras also in double figures. Edwards, of course, sending back leader to wide long on, back on the boundary. Fine leg is back on the boundary also. Marshall is driving. So we see another change. Gary Rogers, in fact, he has exchanged places with Ezra Powell, who is going down on the third man boundary. He's cutting out and missing. Powell, of course, the younger man. So Rogers, he stays at point. So there's a slip, gully, third man back on the boundary. There's also point in place, extra cover. And mid-off. He's flashing edges down towards third man, and Powell is quickly across to his left, cuts it off and prevents a second run. Had that been Gary Rogers, it could easily have gone for 4. And certainly showing good sense there, the St. Kitts team, rather than having Rogers down on the third man boundary, having the younger man Powell and the more active one. And this one is played into the offside out towards cover. They're getting a couple runs here. Back for the second. And it's not going to be a third. Of course, my good friend Marshall settled in quite early for just the second run. So Sterling Marshall looking to bring some respectability to his team score sheet. Nicely played by Wallace. What the Nevis Masters team would be hoping to do at this point is to bat out the overs and see how many runs they can accumulate. Peel goes up, but in vain. 57 for 8 at the end of over number 12. So 2-2 Wallace, and Marshall is on 17. Those are the two batters at the crease. So the Nevis Masters, they would have lost wicket at 1, 8, 13, 24, 32, 34, 38, and 38. Really a steady procession of batsmen going. And we are going to see a bowling change from the far end. Roy Nisbet comes into the attack. And this looks like the first sign of a spin we are going to see for the morning. Now we see some more fielders being thrown into the deep. In fact, there are just two fielders in the deep. As this one is flashed into the offside, down towards the extra cover boundary. 4 runs to Marshall. So this so far has been a good knock by Marshall, and looking to bring some respectability to his team's total. And he can be a dangerous player when he takes out that long handle. The offside, the cover remains vacant. Well, in the deep, that is, there's an extra cover, and there's a point just slightly backward. So anything over the infield could very well find its way to the boundary, anything over extra cover. And of course, there's a wideish long off. There's also long on back on the boundary. Marshall is defending. So it's been a good knock so far from Marshall, and bringing a bit of respectability to his team. Scorecard. Driving. Up to wideish long off and picks up a single. Clark comes from off the boundary and bowls it in. In fact, that looks like Edwards down there. Oh, that's a good one. But well dug out there by Wallace. This time, we see Rogers trying some footwork. The ball beats him and goes out into the deep for Clark to retrieve. And in the meantime, Wallace was able to pick up another run. So a bit of a partnership building here between these two batsmen for Nevis. And bringing some respectability to this total. 63 for 8, 13 overs completed. And the scoring weight just on the 4.85 once over. But a good little partnership here building between these two. 25 runs from 26 deliveries. And Welton Edwards will continue. Marshall, in the meantime, has moved on to 22. And he has been supported by Wallace, who was just runs on the board, but nevertheless contributing to a partnership so far for the Nevis Masters. Here is Wallace showing good defense, keeps it out. And with 8 wickets down, of course, the Nevis Masters would be looking to bat out these overs. And Wallace perhaps doing the right thing at this point. Gets it down to long on. Leader comes from off the boundary and fields, but lots of time to pick up a run. Nicely turned into the onside by Marshall. Certainly this has been a good knock by Sterling Marshall. Gets one wide of the off stump. And for one moment, Mangro might have thought of calling that one wide, but in the end decided against it. And I think Edwards might have been lucky to get away with one there. That one seemed to be pretty close to being called wide. Driven on the bounce and knocked down there. The fielder, instead of going towards the trajectory of the ball, opted to back off, and that's Murray. And he took it on a bounce. So the over comes to an end. And so we would have had some 14 overs completed, and it's 65 for 8. So the slip has been removed, and now it's just Patel, the lone figure behind the stumps. Oh, there is Nisbet pulling out of one. Seemed as though he was about to overstep. And the umpire was quick on the trigger. Umpire Watley, he was calling no ball. And Nisbet rather smartly not releasing the ball. So that one had to be cancelled out. Driven in the air out towards extra cover. Marshall is not running. And he was convinced that that one was going for 4. And in the end it did. And he picks up another boundary. Clips it into the onside. This is another good shot by Marshall. Should get 2. Does he have the stamina to complete it? In fact, it goes for 4. So that's another good shot there by Marshall. And so he's dealing in boundaries at the moment and really pulling back something for his team. The score has now gone on to 73 for 8. And he has now gone on to 31. And this has been a very good knock by Marshall. Sterling Marshall. Nisbet turns it into the onside, but straight to Jeffers, who's at short mid-wicket. And this time he can't score. Just saw the Hoboken cricket team arriving in the grounds. Played in the air up towards Clark. Takes it on the bounce. It was in there for some time and he had some running to do. And just a single. Speed up. Single. A good return might have, had the stumps been broken, it might have been close. But Wallace, Badney and all, was quickly through for that run. And these are important runs for the Nevis team. Pitch really leveling out at the moment. Much better to bat on. Sun certainly has been pelting down on the pitch. Short lifting, just as I spoke. The return misses the stumps and Wallace hops home for that run. So these two are creating some headache there for the St. team. Nice little partnership building. And the last wicket fell with the score on 38. And these two, they have doubled the score. The partnership at the moment, some 38 runs between these two. And it has been a very good partnership for the Nevis Masters. And it seems as though the players are pausing for a short drinks break. The Nevis players, they're getting some refreshment. And we see the umpires, in fact, let's see. Probably indicating that, you know, players themselves should have some refreshment. It's been hot out there. But it's a good time for us to take a water break also. Ready? Well, we're back with you after that short water break. You see a bowling change immediately after that break. Jeffers, the captain, brings himself on. I suspect that he's going to be bowling right arm off spin. Yes, he's at the top of his mark, a short run. Starts well. And Marsham is defending, so there's a mid-wicket in place. There's a square leg, short backward, square short mid-wicket, and long on, but single is picked up as this one is played up to mid-wicket. So predominantly onside field, just 4 on the off. Slip is in place, there's a point, extra cover, and a mid-off. So Nevis fighting back. Edges down towards third man and hops through for a run, and I think that's all they'll be. And you could see Wallace struggling. Would have said earlier on that he's suffering from a knee injury, but just might play. Of course, to the being Friday, a challenge for the Nevis Masters, some of the players not available. And Sterling not really timing that one. Gets it up to short mid-wicket. .78 it is for 8. We are over number 16. And in fact, over number 16 completed. So 4 overs left. The question is how Sterling, Marshall, and Wallace are going to approach these 4 remaining overs. Of course, there are not much wickets left. And perhaps they might be thinking in terms of at least these 2 batting down to the penultimate over. And perhaps having a go in the final over and look to get this score as close to the 100 mark as possible. And just give themselves a glimpse. Edwards is back, but he is back from the far end. Here is a shot. Oh my goodness. Oh, suicidal. Played up to extra cover. And there was Wallace charging down the track. Marshall was not moving. The throw came to the keeper's end. And poor Wallace was stranded way down the track. He had reached the point of no return. And he was run out by at least 3 miles. So the 9th wicket going down, just as I was saying that these 2 would be looking to take it as close to the 20 overs as possible, a suicidal run. So the last man goes out. It's Patrick Newton, more known for his left arm leg spin. Certainly Sterling was unmoved at the far end, and Wallace was really charging down the middle of the track. And perhaps I'm surprised that, well, he was on his way now, but I'm surprised that the umpire didn't have some words with him for running down the middle of the track at that point. So Patrick Newton, taking on the pad first delivery. Looking to flick into the onside. So Edwards yet to pick up his first wicket. Oh, that's a good one. Newton is playing that and missing through to the keeper. Flashes that again and misses outside the off stump. Rather extravagant looking shot there by Patrick Newton. This time he's quite deep playing into the gully region, but can't score. Perhaps Newton should be thinking of just holding one end and allow Sterling Marshall to go after the bowling. Plays back up the track to the bowler this time. So the over comes to an end. It's the end of over number 17. So it's Jeffers. And Marshall is driving. It takes the bottom edge and should get at the end. These are useful runs. So Jeffers. Marshall is swinging and swinging well out towards Whitish long on 6 runs. That's a good shot. My word. He really got lots of bat onto that one and swung it over Whitish long on and swung it into the players' pavilion for a mighty 6. So he's swinging once more, takes him on the pad. And Marshall really has been the lone hand out there for the Nevis Masters. And he has certainly batted well so far. Here's one. Taking on the bounce, just a single. So, the over comes to an end. And So 18 overs completed. Libod being brought into the attack from the far end. And 87 for 9. With 8 overs completed. Libod coming off a short run. Obviously, he's going to be bowling spin. He has a... and Marshall is swinging and Libod is appealing. But umpire Watley remains unmoved. So he has a mid-wicket on the boundary, long on, long off on the boundary. Cover back on the boundary. And we see that he's asking Powell to go into the mid-wicket region, back on the boundary. Rogers retreats to long on. There's a square leg in place, back on the boundary. So there are 5 fielders outside the circle, all back on the boundary. Short, and they played over the bowler's head, and just a single. Penultimate over of the Nevis' Masters inning. And they are now 88 for 9. Perhaps trying to get another 12 runs to at least give their score some form of respectability. And here's a quick run, should be run out. But he misses the stumps, Edwards. And the batters in the end were through for the run. All important runs. In fact, he not only missed the stump, he missed the ball, he failed to pick it up. And it was Clark who came from off the long off boundary to retrieve. Swing and a miss, and takes the batsman Sterling on the pads. Too short and pulled, but down to square leg and plucked from the air by Jeffers, who had planted himself down on the square leg boundary, and just a single. So it's now 89 for 9. And here is one from Newton, and he's going back for the second run, and going on the arm of Nisbet, who fails to get it close to the keeper. The keeper, in fact, had to move forward to collect. And 2 runs collected, so it's now 91 for 9. And can the Nevis team pick up 9 runs in this over? Final over, of course, of the innings. Can they possibly pick up some 9 runs to get their team to 100? Jeffers is going to bowl the final over. He has a deep backward square right on the boundary. There's a mid-wicket back on the boundary. Long on is back on the boundary. And he's also long off back on the boundary. So he's looking to save boundaries here. And the Marshall is the batsman on strike. Marshall is swinging, missed, and is bowled all over the place. So 91 it is for 9. Nevis batting the first time. And in fact, all out. The last wicket of Marshall going down, they've been bowled. So it means that the St. Kitts team would have to score some 92 runs to win this match. And of course, I would want to think too that Nevis would have to bowl St. Kitts out if they're going to win this one. So innings break. We'll take a break also. Well, good afternoon from Warner Park. And the St. Kitts Masters about to respond to the paltry 91 runs that were scored by the Nevis Masters, with Sterling Marshall getting a top score of some 43 runs. And the Nevis team, they're out there in the field. And it seems as though the bowling will start from the far end, and it looks like it's going to be my good friend Subrami, Rakesh Subrami, who will start the attack from the far end. And so far he has a short third man. There's a backward point, a cover point. We see Stuart Williams is there, extra cover. There's a mid-off indoor. And of course, the magic figure for the St. Kitts team, of course, is 91 runs. So Subrami, and he's bowling left arm quick spin. That one really flew to the keeper. So for St. Kitts, the Patel, Jitan Patel, he's opening the batting and he's driving in the air, out towards extra cover, going towards the boundary, goes across the boundary now, and he's off the mark with a 4. Greg Stanley, of course, is the other opening batsman, the non-striker. And we know Patel is not going to waste any time. He's not going to muck around. And he would be going after the bowling in quick order. Just in field, though. And there's no fielder out on the offside. There's a deep mid-wicket. There's a long one in place. Those are the two fielders outside the 30-yard circle. And perhaps Patel, who's left arm, leg spin, he's angling it back into the right-handed Patel. And this one takes something. It's going down towards the boundary. And Wallace is really hobbling after it. And sends the return to the captain, Joel Simmons. And Watley seems to be uncertain as to whether or not that came from bat. Had some words with the square leg umpire, Mangu. And Wallace hops back into his position, really struggling. In the air once more over extra cover 4. And I would have thought what with that initial shot that they might have looked to plug that area. So we have had 2 boundaries in this over. And this has been a very good start for the St. Kitts team. So 10 runs coming up in that first over. And the Nevis team, of course, they would be hoping to be a lot tighter. 91, not a very good score by any means. The St. Kitts team, of course, quite a bit of batting to come. And it's an all-spin attack here for Nevis. Patrick Newton, also a left-arm leg spinner, comes into the attack. He's bowling around the wicket, between the wicket and the umpire. And Stanley is back and looking to force, but finds Junior Mills at cover and he can't score. This time he gets past Wallace. Oh, they're looking for a second run. Stanley's not interested. And in the end, there's some good work there from Stuart Williams, who's on the long off boundary. And just a single. Heavy cloud ahead of us in the southern section, southern part of St. Kitts. Too short, and Patel misses one outside the off stump. So Nevis looking to get some early wickets here. Short again, and Patel plays up to point and can't score. So 91 scored by Nevis. Sterling Marshall, of course, getting some 43 of that. Swings in the air over square leg, down to the square leg boundary for 4. So Patel doing it in boundaries. That's his third boundary. And with that boundary, the score would have gone on to 15 for no loss. So Patel, of course, on 14, and he has struck some 3 boundaries. So Newton once more, too short again, punched up towards the cover boundary. Cover point, in fact, 4 more. 19 for no loss, and we're opening over number 2. In fact, that over comes to an end. And if these two continue at this rate, this could be over in seconds. Pitcher, of course, much better pitch on which to bat. It would have dried out considerably. And, of course, in between innings, the heavy motorized roller would have been used to flatten it out a bit more. So the St. Kitts team certainly would be getting the better part of the pitch in terms of batting. Short, he's looking to cut, misses. And to Joel Simmons. Subrami. In the air, but well short of Newton. They're looking for a second run. The return goes to the keepers, and it's not a good one. And the second one easily taken in the end. So Subrami. Just more or less pushing it through, not giving it much here. And with this quick arm action, really getting it to slide through to the batsman. Stanley gets it out to extra cover where Stuart Williams is feeling. Extra cover a bit wide. Swan is in the air. Wallace is going back. A bit hampered by that leg injury. Unable to get to it. And they're back for the third run. So that over comes to an end. And the score? 21 without loss. And we have just had some 3 overs completed. So the St. Kitts team going at some 7 runs per over. And just to remind viewers, the magic figure, of course, is 92 for St. Kitts to win this match. Nevis, of course, having scored some 91 runs, of which Sterling Marshall got 43. But this has been a very good start, a very brisk start here by the St. Kitts batters, Patel in particular. He has struck some 4 boundaries. And he is pulling out towards mid-wicket and gets another boundary. So he's doing this rather easily. He's doing it rather easily. So just getting some correction here in terms of the scores. It's in fact 27 now. 27 for no loss. And really Patel out of the blocks rather quickly here. Gets another shot, one draws away, looks to cut and misses. Another cut shot essayed there by Patel. He missed it completely. Flatter and faster from Newton. And this time slows it up a bit and targets the stumps, and Patel is defending. So Newton has been around cricket for quite some time. Loves the game. He has been playing it for ages. In the air, caught. There was Patel with one shot too many. Slashed at that one. He peeled off from the outer portion of the bat and went down to short third man. And Rami took the catch. And he's on his way for a well-played 22, Patel. So giving his team a good start. So really and truly the Nevis team picking up their first wicket, and I'm pretty certain they'll be looking to pick up many more wickets if they're to stay in contention in this game. 91, of course, not a very huge total. But the captain Jeffers goes to the crease. He replaces Patel. Jeffers, he would have built his career playing for St. Kitts, and the Leewards, of course, as an opening batsman, comes in at number 3. Stanley, of course, is there still. He would have opened the innings several times for St. Kitts, and these two, as a matter of fact, would have played a lot together at Leeward Islands level for St. Kitts. Greg Stanley and Shane Jeffers. They would have played quite a bit of cricket together. Stanley, of course, from the St. Paul's Newton Ground area. Jeffers, of course, from Stanley Point. Of course, very active in cricket still. And one of the scouts here in St. Kitts Nevis, talent scout, of course, for the West Indies. And he turns it gently into the onside and picks up his first run. Of course, he has been active too as a match referee in the Women's CG tournament which concluded last week here in St. Kitts, tournament which was won by Trinidad and Tobago, defeating Barbados. Barbados, a team that had gone unbeaten throughout the tournament, and in succession the last twice to Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago beating them for the first time down at St. Paul's when they made a low score. And these two, they ended up playing in the finals, first and second place team. And Barbados was bowled out for a paltry 71 runs, which Trinidad knocked off in the end and won the championship. That, of course, was held here in Warner Park, and you had matches at Connery and also at St. Paul's. But this is another level of cricket, Masters tournament. And of course, the Masters tournament qualification, once you are 35 and beyond, I think you can qualify to play in this tournament. Well, Lashawn is telling me 40, but I'm not too sure if it's 40. I want to suspect it's less than 40. I think but that could be confirmed. I think the age was changed at some point. Well, I'll have confirmation on that one. So Shane Jeffers is already 40. Shane Jeffers is already 40. 43. Didn't realize he was that old. What about Ezra Powell? He's also... Okay. He's gone past that. It's a good shot for a single by Jeffers. And seems as though someone has come to our rescue. And we have been given some refreshment.
That's why I said 40.
Okay. Well, I'm not. I'll have confirmation on that. Is Terence Taylor wrong? Is Terence Ward? Sorry, in St. Kitts. Is he in St. Kitts?
Yeah, I think so.
Swung away down to backward square, and the signal comes down for 6. So we've had some confirmation there. The age for qualification for this Masters tournament, as this one is turned down towards fine leg, could run away for another 4. In fact, it stops just inside the boundary, and they're back for the second run. Good batting there by Jeffers, just getting it past the ball and getting it down to Stuart Williams, who comes from off the long on boundary. Another run to the score. So a bit of a cloud cover, a bit of an overcast. As Stanley has been rather quiet, looks to force but can't beat Wallace at extra cover. Taking on the part, their people's up, and indicates that it might be a missing leg. Bowler, in fact, indicating that. So, just the 1 wicket down for the St. Kitts Masters. Stanley is looking for a run and unable to break free. So we have had 6 overs completed. The score 38 for 1. St. Kitts Masters going after a 92 to win this one. So that's the end of the power play. 6 overs have been completed, signaled there by umpire Watley. Subrami will continue. This time he's going over the wicket. Continues to push it through. You've not seen him float any up or take the pace off of any. Oh, that's a good one. Beats Jeffers. And no appeal from any of the Nevis players, really. Of course, the Nevis team would like to see the back of Shane Jeffers, who's driving and getting it from the inner portion of the bat, going down to short backwards square and gets himself a single, but not a controlled shot. See Sidney Newton going to a short third man. Sidney Newton, of course, renowned as a medium pacer, but whether or not he would be given the ball today. In the air, fielder is settling under it, takes the catch, and Stanley's on his way. So good work there by that fielder. And looks like my good friend Junior Mills, and he is known to have a safe pair of hands. And Greg Tempo Stanley is on his way. Certainly he was struggling a bit, found it difficult to get the ball away, tried to go over the top, got it as far as long on, and Junior Mills settled under that one and took a good catch. It was by no means a difficult catch, but in the end, he took it quite nicely. And then Nevis, they picked up the second wicket. And Subrami, he would have picked up another wicket. So a glimmer of hope there for the Nevis Masters. And if they can see the back of Jeffers, that would be a bonus. But Welton Edwards is at the crease, and he himself has been playing quite a bit of cricket over the years. So I've been just reminded that he scores a lot of runs. He certainly does. As a matter of fact, I think one time he was selected to play for St. Kitts. Gets off the mark immediately with a nice, oh my goodness, misfeeling down there, but quick recovery. That looks like for one moment I thought it was Hamilton, but certainly not Hamilton down there. It's probably Walwyn down there on the long off boundary. Easy single. As this one is turned down to short fine leg. Now this is interesting. Stuart Williams comes into the attack. And he will tell you that he is a very good leg spinner, but that's left to be seen as he marks out his run. We know he was a very good opening batsman, but he has dabbled in the past with the art of leg spin bowling. So we've had some 7 overs completed. The score 41 for 2, and just another 51 runs needed by the Sankey's team. Starts with, in fact, it's 6. For one moment, the fielder down there on the straightish mid-wicket boundary thought that's Junior Mills thought he was in with a chance of taking a catch, but it sailed just over his head and over the boundary for 6. But a bit too short by Stuart Williams, and Jeffers. Oh my goodness gracious me. Misstumped there by Joel Simmons. Drawn into the shot, deceived there by Stuart Williams, and Jeffers survives. Easy bit of stumping, and Joel Simmons, renowned in the past to be a very good wicketkeeper, missed that one. Jeffers is driving. So that's happening in this over so far from Stuart Williams. Should have had the wicket of Jeffers. Oh, and here is one beating Jeffers and going down behind him. I'm waiting for a signal, yes. The signal for white comes from the umpire. And everything is happening in this over so far from Stuart Williams. Created an opportunity. And the captain, Joel Simmons, really making a meal of that one. One of the easiest stumping chances you'll ever see. So 50 comes up with that single by Edwards, Welton Edwards. Oh, that one seemed to have gripped a bit, but well played there by Jeffers in the end, and he picked up a single. Played straight to point to Sterling Marsham, and Welton Edwards is on his way. So Stuart Williams picking up the third wicket for Nevis, and certainly Sterling Marsham having a great day, scoring 43 top score and now taking a catch. And Stuart Williams could have easily had 2 wickets in that over, but in the end he picked up the wicket of Welton Edwards. So Nevis fighting back, and perhaps if they can see the back of Jeffers, they might think that they might be in with a fair chance, but Edwards goes and in comes Powell. Powell, who has been playing quite a bit of cricket recently, and still some work for the Nevis team to do. Powell, a very capable batsman, and like I said, one who has been playing cricket, so would have some level of form. Looks like a bowling change from the far end, though. It looks like Sterling Marsham who comes into the attack from the far end. So winging the change is the captain, Joel Simmons. Jeffers draws away and bangs it through mid-wicket 4. It was too short and slow, and Jeffers is not going to miss out on those deliveries. Really gave it a good thump. The ball whisked away and beat Walwyn into the boundary for 4. And here he goes again. This time, Doe is in the way and just a single. So, I'll give you 56 for 3. And I think his team very much on top. Over pitched and played to extra cover. Looks to get it past Newton, moving to his right. Newton picks up and prevents a run. So Marshall tightening up, Sterling Marshall. Turned into the onside by Powell, Ezra Powell. Thinking of a second, but decided against it in the end. Okay, so we have had some 9 overs completed and score 57 for 3. And of course, the magic figure is 92 to win. So they need another 35 runs, lots of deliveries in which to do it. Make it 34 with that single down to long on by Paul. Mystery spinner Stuart Williams continues. He's going around the wicket now to Shane Jeffers. Draws away and pulls it hard, straight, and down to the boundary. The very straight, long on boundary for 4. So racing towards the target, the sinking steam. And Jeffers is forcing into the offside for another run. Nicely played. Oh, there's hesitation. In the end, they decided against the run, as went straight to Wallace at extra cover. And this time he gently pushes it into the offside, and just a single. So the Masters from Nevis getting a real working out. They have been moving around in the field. And this is where I'm grateful that I'm no longer in that category. I've long gone past that. Oh, misses outside the off stump. Well, my good friend LaShawn Dixon is talking about another category, but my category is totally retired from the game. I've long retired from that, LaShawn. Would have played a bit in my 50s and even approaching 60. But, you know, no longer able to participate in the game. Sterling Marshall will continue. He's been around a long time. He really loves the game. So nicely and goes past my good friend Patrick Newton, who was unable to bend down in time to stop that one and allowed it past him. So it's the left-handed changer for in strike now. It draws away and forces up towards long on. A bit of fumbling there on the boundary, and it goes for 4. It seems as though Walwyn is having a bad time down there on the boundary and allowing 1 through for 4. Pulls her into the onside. Oh my goodness. It goes past door this time. Seemed to have had it covered. And perhaps a slight bounce, and it went over his hand and into the boundary for 4. So 73 it is now for 3. And they're well on their way. Another 19 runs needed. And the balls of no consequence at this point. Another 57 deliveries in which to get these runs. Jeffers is not letting up. Oh, it goes past Subrami rather. and he picks up 2. So Jeff was really running the Nevision fielders ragged. Of course, these are not teenagers. And when you're 40 plus, it's not easy out there. Steps out and gets it down to long on. Walwyn is across this time. Oh my goodness. He feels well, and in the end, drops it. But in the end, all's well that ends well. No extra run allowed. Jeff was, of course, going great guns, 41 from some 27 deliveries. Nicely played up towards cover. Doe is across to his left. Fields flicks it on the arm. And I'm sure at his age, it would be very difficult for him to get it in from that distance. Small man, Doe would have been playing cricket for Nevis, would have played for Nevis back in the late 70s or thereabout, and that's a long time ago. So that would give you a good idea of those age. So, most definitely, LaShawn, before your time. So Doe, I'm sure, would be well into his 60s. But still playing the game, still moving around. Marvin Hamilton, of course, who's at long on. He is one of the younger generation, and just as I call his name, he's into action fielding. He was always a chubby lad, but has put on quite a bit more with the passing years. But it's Stuart Williams. Bowls a good one, as Jeff was feeling for that one a bit, but in the end, played it well. Jeff was approaching a half century. Another 8 runs needed.
79. 79.
For his half century.
79.
And here's one driven over Newton, who is at short mid-wicket and down to wide. He's long off for single. So really costing home now the St. Kitts team. 80 runs on the board with just some 3 wickets down. Jeffers draws away, beats Newton, and Doe is in action. So we are counting down. Next game due to start at 2 p.m. Nicely played, but straight to Marshall. And there's no run. Steps out, drives nicely, 4 runs through extra cover. Beats Mickey Mills, Junior Mills, into the boundary. And 4 more to the score. So it's just another 7 runs needed. And Jeffers needs another 8. He needs 7 runs. So who can get there first? Can Jeffers get these 7 runs? Or can the score be knocked off before he gets these 7 runs. And for the first time, we're going to see Sidney Newton being introduced into the attack, known to be a medium pacer. And for the first time, of course, we're seeing pace being used by the Nevis team. And he's going to bowl around the wicket to the left-handed Shane Jeffers with 7 runs needed. And Jeffers himself needing 7 runs to get to a half century. Gets one wide of the... Oh, well, at that rate, Jeffers might struggle to get this half century. But, of course, that was only the first delivery of the over. Sidney Newton once more. This time it's closer to the stumps, and Jeffers does not play a shot, allows it through to Joel Simmons. Pulled powerfully through mid-wicket for 4. So another 2 runs needed, and the Jeffers would need another 3 runs. And I'm pretty certain he would be thinking boundary if he's aware of his score. So can he get it? 2 runs needed, Jeffers need another 4. So Newton to Jeffers. Jeffers, probably not aware of his score, turns it into the onside, picks up a single. And the scores are level. So obviously, no message was sent out to Jeffers. He was not aware of his score. And perhaps at the same time, too, he's not too concerned about that. He's more concerned about seeing his team home. So he picks up a run there. And a single is taken, and this should be it. So the Sinkis team would have won, and I'm pretty certain that the signal would come. Umpires are waiting. In fact, they walk away, and that's the end of that game. The Sinkis team would have won that by some 7 wickets, just losing some 7 wickets, chasing down 91 runs scored by the Nevis team. So we'll be back here later on, and confirmation, LaShawn, the other match starts at 4, and the teams playing would be?
Nevis and the champions.
Nevis and Hoboken would be coming up at 4 o'clock against each other. So lots of time in between. So we'll take a break and we'll be back later on.